The Aurora glided silently through the black of space, a slender human vessel braving the unknown. Captain Alara Voss stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the approaching planet displayed on the main screen. It was unlike any star chart they had studied before. Its surface shimmered with strange metallic hues, and enormous structures rose like spires across its continents. The humans aboard felt a mixture of awe and unease. This world was alive, but alive in ways they could not yet understand. Alara's hand hovered over the console. She had led countless missions, yet something about this planet felt different. "Prepare the scouts," she ordered. "We go in lightly. Observation first. No risks to the crew." Her voice was calm, but beneath it was the pulse of excitement. Humans thrived in the unknown. And that was a fact the universe had yet to fully appreciate. The landing party consisted of 4 humans: Alara, Lieutenant Marin Keel, Engineer Jace Ridley, and Communications Specialist Talia Nguyen. They descended to the planet in a shuttle that hummed softly as it pierced the atmosphere. Below, the ground shimmered with crystalline structures. The air, though breathable thanks to environmental suits, carried an unfamiliar metallic tang. Shadows moved unnaturally, shifting as if aware of the intruders. As the humans stepped onto the alien soil, the sense of being watched intensified. Jace was the first to speak, his voice tight with anticipation. "I don't like this, Captain. It feels like we're walking into eyes we can't see." Alara nodded. "Stay sharp. Eyes or no eyes. We are humans. We survive. We adapt." Her words were not empty reassurance. They carried the weight of humanity's legacy. Humans were small compared to many of the galaxy's inhabitants. Yet time and again, they had proved their courage and ingenuity could tip the balance where raw power could not. The first hours passed with cautious exploration. The landscape was surreal. Crystal towers jutted from the ground like the teeth of some colossal creature, reflecting the pale sunlight in blinding flashes. Strange plants with translucent leaves swayed in a wind that seemed almost deliberate. The air hummed faintly, a vibration that resonated deep in the bones. Suddenly, the ground shook violently. Talia stumbled, catching herself against Jace, as a deep roar rolled across the valley. Shadows emerged from the gaps between the towers, tall, muscular creatures with eyes that glowed faintly like molten stone. Their skin was tough and scaled, and their movements were precise, predatory. The humans froze. These were no ordinary natives. These were warriors, and their approach was deliberate. Alara raised her hand. "Stay calm. Show no fear." But fear was natural. The Krithar, the beings before them, radiated power, and their growls spoke of strength that humans could barely imagine. The leader of the Krithar stepped forward. He was massive, twice the height of a human, his eyes piercing with a cold, calculating intelligence. His claws scraped the metallic ground as he growled, a sound that shook the air. "You are brave for a human," he said, his voice rumbling deep in the humans' chests. Alara met his gaze without flinching. A smile touched her lips. "I'm human because I'm brave," she replied. The words were simple, yet they carried the essence of humanity's unyielding spirit. For a moment, the alien seemed startled, a flicker of curiosity passing over his features. The Krithar leader Gorath, as they would later learn, tilted his massive head, studying these small beings who dared to confront him without trembling. He was used to fear in those he met, and humans rarely impressed him. But here was a human, one of the smallest and weakest creatures he had ever encountered, standing tall with courage and clarity. It was unexpected. Before the humans could react further, the Krithar warriors closed in, their numbers overwhelming. Alara signaled her team to retreat slowly, moving with careful coordination. Humans had a long history of using intelligence and teamwork to survive, and now was no different. They dodged, ducked, and leaped with agility born of training, using the crystal terrain to their advantage. One of the Krithar lunged at Jace, aiming to corner him. Alara intercepted, pushing him aside, and taking a step back herself. She held her ground, drawing the attention of the alien. keeping her team safe. "We don't want to fight," she said steadily. "We only came to observe." Gorath growled again, a sound like rolling thunder. Yet, instead of attacking, he motioned his warriors to hold. There was something in the human stance, in their calm in the face of overwhelming danger, that intrigued him. Humans were fragile, yes, but they carried a spark that often flared into courage far beyond their size and strength. The standoff lasted tense minutes, each side gauging the other. Then, unexpectedly, Gorath turned and signaled retreat. The humans blinked in disbelief as the Krithar vanished into the alien structures, leaving only echoes of their presence behind. Marin broke the silence, her voice trembling. "Did that just end?" Ilara shook her head, her gaze still fixed where the Krithar had disappeared. "Not ended. Observed. They are watching. And now, they know humans are not to be underestimated." As they continued their cautious exploration, they discovered signs of intelligence everywhere. Mechanical constructs hummed softly, controlled by unseen hands. Patterns in the crystalline towers suggested purpose, design, even artistry. This was not a primitive world. The Krithar had built something remarkable, yet for all their strength and precision, they had underestimated humans' courage. That night, the humans set up a temporary camp within the shadow of a crystalline spire. The stars above were brighter than anywhere on Earth, and the strange moon cast silvery light across the alien terrain. Around the campfire, the team spoke in hushed tones, reflecting on the encounter. Jace shook his head, still uneasy. "I've read about humans standing against impossible odds, but seeing it's different." Ilara leaned back, her eyes scanning the horizon. "Humans have survived because we face what others flee from. Courage isn't about being unafraid. It's about moving forward despite fear. That's why we're here. That's why we can make a difference. Even on a planet like this," Talia, ever the quiet observer, added. "I think Gorath saw that. The way we faced them, we didn't just survive. We didn't falter. That matters in their world. Even if they don't admit it yet." Ilara nodded. "Exactly. We've made our mark, not with weapons, but with our presence. The fact that a Krithar leader respects us, even slightly, is proof that humans are more than what others think." The night passed slowly. Strange noises echoed from the alien structures, mechanical hums, distant roars, whispers of life that humans couldn't yet name. Sleep came fitfully, but the crew rested enough to be ready for what the day would bring. When dawn broke, the landscape appeared transformed in the soft light. Shadows receded, revealing the vast complexity of the alien city. Crystalline towers glinted, structures intertwined with organic growth, creating an architecture both beautiful and alien. The humans prepared to venture deeper, knowing that the first encounter was only the beginning. As they moved forward, the sense of being watched remained. Yet now, it was accompanied by a strange reassurance. Humans had shown their courage, and in doing so, they had earned a measure of attention and respect. The universe was full of dangers and unknowns, but it was also full of opportunities, and humans, with their bravery, were uniquely equipped to seize them. Ilara led the way, her steps confident. "We are humans," she whispered to herself. "And we are brave. That is enough to face what comes next." Even as the shadows of the Krithar stretched across the crystalline terrain, and the hum of alien machinery echoed through the air, the humans pressed onward. They were small, yes, but they were relentless. They were clever, courageous, and unyielding. And on this strange world, far from Earth, that was more powerful than any weapon or strength. The first part of their journey ended not with victory, but with understanding. The Krithar had seen them. The humans had proven their bravery. And somewhere in the vast, complex structures of the alien city, eyes curious and calculating continued to watch. For the humans, the adventure had only just begun. And they were ready. They were humans. And they were brave. That truth, simple and unwavering, would shape everything to come. The humans followed the path that led into the heart of the Krithar city. The crystal towers loomed above them, gleaming in the strange sunlight, casting patterns of light that danced across the alien streets. Every step they took echoed softly, as though the city itself was listening. Though the humans had survived the first encounter, they felt no triumph, only the awareness that the real challenge was only beginning. Alara led her team with calm determination. "Keep your focus," she said. "This city is alive, and it has rules we don't yet understand. We need to observe, adapt, and move carefully." Jace looked around, his eyes wide. "It's incredible. The architecture. It's like nothing we've ever seen. But I can't help feeling we're being tested. Not just watched." Alara nodded. "You're right. That's exactly what's happening. If they truly respect courage, we'll need more than bravery to earn their trust. We'll need skill, patience, and understanding." They rounded a towering spire and entered a wide plaza. The ground beneath their boots vibrated faintly, as if the city had a heartbeat. Alien symbols glowed softly along the walls, pulsing with a rhythm the humans could almost feel. It was here they first encountered other Krithar, in a formal setting. The aliens were taller than the humans had remembered, their armor sleek and functional, and their eyes sharp with intelligence. Gorath stepped forward, the massive Krithar leader who had confronted Alara the day before. His expression was unreadable, but his eyes followed the humans carefully. "You have shown courage," he said in a voice that rumbled like distant thunder. "But courage alone is not enough. To survive among us, you must prove your worth." Alara inclined her head. "We are ready to learn." The humans were escorted into an arena-like structure. It was enormous, open to the sky, with platforms and obstacles that rose in geometric complexity. Other Krithar lined the edges, silent observers of what was about to unfold. The humans realized they were to undergo trials, a test of intelligence, agility, and moral character. The first trial was a physical challenge. The platform shifted and tilted as the humans stepped onto it, forcing them to balance while avoiding hazards. Jace nearly slipped into a deep chasm, but Alara caught his arm, steadying him. "Watch each other," she reminded. "We move as one." The humans coordinated their movements, signaling each other and using quick thinking to overcome the challenges. The Krithar watched in silence, their expressions a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. For all their strength, the aliens had never seen humans face danger with such calm determination. Next came a puzzle-like challenge. The humans were confronted with an intricate pattern of symbols, gates, and switches. The objective was to reach the other side without triggering traps that could collapse sections of the arena. Talia studied the pattern carefully. "It's not about force," she observed. "It's about understanding the rhythm, predicting the consequences, and moving thoughtfully." Alara nodded. "Exactly. We have brains, and we will use them." Step by step, the humans worked together, communicating silently and efficiently. When one misstep triggered a trap, the others adapted quickly, preventing disaster. Slowly, they navigated the maze of gates and switches, showing a level of coordination and ingenuity the Krithar had not expected. The observers murmured among themselves. Humans were fragile, yes, but their minds and their teamwork were formidable. For the first time, some of the younger Krithar began to watch with a hint of admiration. Courage alone had drawn attention. Now, intelligence and cooperation were earning respect. The final trial was the most challenging. A small Krithar child had been placed in danger as part of the test. Suspended high above a platform, with only a narrow path leading to them, the humans had to rescue the child without triggering alarms or harming the structure. Alara immediately took the lead. "We move carefully. We cannot fail this." Jace went first, testing the stability of the path. Talia calculated the angles and distances, giving precise instructions. Marin steadied Alara as she reached for the child. Every step required trust, precision, and courage. Gorath watched closely. He had seen bravery before, but he had never seen it combined with such intelligence and selflessness. Humans risked themselves not for glory, but to protect another being, even one so alien. That was not weakness. That was strength. Elara reached the child and cradled them carefully. "It's okay. You're safe now." Slowly, they made their way back, keeping the child secure. When they returned to solid ground, the audience of Krithar erupted not in applause, but in recognition. Their gestures of respect were subtle, but unmistakable. The humans had passed the trials. Gorath stepped forward, his massive frame casting a shadow over the humans. "You have shown more than courage," he said. "You have shown thought, care, and cooperation. These are traits of a warrior, no matter their size. You are not like other humans. You are remarkable." Elara smiled. "We are human because we are brave," she said softly. "And we survive because we care for each other." A ripple of understanding passed among the Krithar. For all their physical dominance, they had underestimated the human capacity for bravery, combined with intellect and empathy. This combination was unpredictable and powerful, a force even the strongest could not ignore. After the trials, the humans were given temporary quarters within the city. The chambers were simple but comfortable, constructed of the same crystal-like material as the towers outside. Through the walls, they could see the inner workings of the city. The flow of energy, the movement of Krithar citizens, and the intricate design of their society. As night fell, Elara stood by the window, looking out over the alien city. The structures glowed faintly in the soft light, a testament to an intelligence that rivaled any human achievement. Yet, she saw opportunity. Humans had proven themselves today, and that proof would open doors. Jace joined her. "Do you think they truly respect us?" he asked. Elara considered. "Respect is earned, not given. Today, we have taken the first step. Tomorrow, we continue to show what humans are capable of. Courage alone is not enough. We must show wisdom, adaptability, and empathy." Marin joined them, adding, "It's strange. We are so small here, yet I feel important. Like what we do matters." Elara nodded. "It does. Size does not define strength. Courage does. Humanity thrives because we face the impossible and find ways to endure. That is our power. That is why we are here." The next morning, the humans were escorted by a group of younger Krithar to observe their society more closely. They walked through bustling marketplaces, laboratories, and workshops, all designed with a combination of functionality and artistry. The humans noticed innovations that were astonishing. Energy systems that seemed alive, transport methods that defied traditional physics, and communication devices that could transmit thought. At every turn, the humans asked questions, carefully observing without interfering. Some of the younger Krithar began to speak to them quietly, intrigued by these tiny, brave creatures who moved among them without fear. The humans answered patiently, showing curiosity and humility, a combination that further impressed the aliens. By midday, the humans understood that they were not merely visitors, they were students, observers, and potential allies. The Krithar were powerful, yes, but their society lacked one element humans possessed in abundance: the ability to adapt, to innovate under pressure, and to act with both courage and morality. Elara gathered her team. "We are learning," she said, "and they are learning from us. We must continue to demonstrate what it means to be human. That is our advantage. That is our strength." As they continued to explore, the humans faced minor obstacles: security drones, complex locks, and physical hazards. Each time, they approached the problem with ingenuity, using tools, observation, and teamwork to succeed. Every small success further shifted the perception of the Krithar. These humans were fragile in body, but formidable in mind and spirit. By the end of the day, Gorath appeared once more. "You have done well," he said. "Your courage is undeniable. Your intelligence is impressive. And your compassion, that is something we have not expected. Humans are fragile, yes. But perhaps in your fragility lies your greatest strength. Elara inclined her head. We are humans. We face fear. We protect each other. And we find solutions when others see none. That is who we are. Gorath regarded her in silence, then nodded. Perhaps you are right. Perhaps there is more to humans than I have seen. The galaxy is vast. And yet your kind shows potential. Remarkable potential. As night fell again over the crystalline city, the humans settled into their quarters. Exhausted but exhilarated, they reflected on what they had learned. Courage had opened the first door, but intelligence, cooperation, and empathy would open the next. And for humans, the impossible was always a challenge to be met, not avoided. Elara looked out at the glowing towers one last time before sleep. Tomorrow, we face new trials, she whispered. And tomorrow, we show them even more what humans are capable of. We are small, but we are brave. And that is more than enough. Somewhere in the city, eyes watched silently, curious and calculating. The humans had survived the first day, passed the trials of courage and ingenuity, and begun to earn respect. Yet, the true challenges lay ahead, and the humans were ready. The morning sky over the Krithar city was pale and metallic, reflecting off the crystal towers with a soft, shimmering glow. Humans moved cautiously through the streets, now familiar with the rhythm of alien life. The lessons from the trials had not only earned them respect, but had also given them insight into the Krithar's complex society. Yet beneath the beauty and order, tension rippled through the city like an unseen current. Reports had come in from the outer settlements. A rogue faction of alien raiders, known as the Zerathi, had begun attacking Krithar outposts. They were fierce, heavily armed, and reckless, valuing conquest over strategy. The Krithar were strong, but even their warriors struggled against this unpredictable enemy. Elara gathered her team in a secure chamber within the city. We've learned their ways. We've proven our courage. And now we have a chance to show that humans can make a difference in a fight that matters, she said, her voice calm but firm. We're small, yes, but that doesn't mean we are powerless. We have brains, instincts, and courage. That is our advantage. Jace nodded. It feels different from the trials. Back then, it was controlled, testing us. Now, it's real. People's lives are at stake. Elara put a hand on his shoulder. Exactly, and that's why what we do matters even more. Courage is meaningless without action. The humans were allowed to join the Krithar defense teams. Gorath, their massive leader, stood beside Elara, his expression unreadable. Your kind has proven bravery, and I respect that, he said. But bravery without thought can destroy more than it saves. I trust you to act wisely. Elara inclined her head. We always think before we act. That's what humans do. The first signs of the Zerathi attack came mid-morning. Explosions rocked the outer city, distant but audible even within the crystalline walls. Smoke rose in jagged columns, and alarms echoed through the streets. The Krithar mobilized immediately, moving with precision and force, but the humans noticed something that the aliens did not. The Zerathi were reckless, predictable in their patterns, and vulnerable to traps that required cleverness to exploit. Elara quickly formulated a plan. We don't charge blindly, she said. We set traps, create diversions, and use their predictability against them. Strength is theirs, cunning is ours. We combine it, and we can turn the tide. The humans moved into position, placing small, precise devices to disrupt the Zerathi's mechanical units, creating obstacles and confusion. While the Krithar relied on power and armor, humans relied on speed, observation, and improvisation. Jace disarmed a trap meant for the humans themselves, turning it to their advantage, while Talia hacked into the Zerathi communication lines, sending false signals that misled the attackers. The first clash was intense. Krithar warriors fought fiercely, but the Zerathi were relentless. Humans moved in small teams, performing daring acts that no Krithar would attempt. Alara led one group to disable a critical weapon platform, crawling through tight spaces and risking detection. The Krithar watched in awe as humans navigated the battlefield with precision and daring, exploiting weaknesses they had overlooked. Gorath fought nearby, his massive form a wall of strength. Yet even he paused, impressed by the human's actions. "You are unpredictable," he said to Alara, shouting over the noise. "I have seen courage, but this is clever courage. You turn weakness into advantage." Quote, 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 Alara smiled briefly. "That's what humans do. We survive because we find solutions where others see none." Hours passed, the battle intensifying with each wave of attackers. Humans continued to perform extraordinary acts, carrying injured Krithar out of danger, setting up defensive measures under fire, and coordinating attacks that combined Krithar strength with human ingenuity. Each success inspired the defenders, raising morale and striking fear into the Zerathi. At one point, a massive Zerathi unit broke through the outer defenses, heading straight for the Krithar command center. Gorath moved to intercept, but Alara saw an opportunity. "We need a distraction," she said, scanning the environment. "If we lure it into the canyon, its size will work against it." Using improvised signals and small explosive devices, the humans led the massive enemy into a narrow canyon, where its momentum became a liability. It crashed into the walls, incapacitated, while Krithar forces moved in to neutralize it. Gorath's eyes gleamed with recognition. "You take risks," he said, "and they work. That is not something I often witness." By mid-afternoon, the tide of battle began to turn. The Zerathi, though powerful, were frustrated and disorganized. Human interventions had caused unexpected chaos, and the Krithar capitalized on every advantage. Small teams of humans moved through the battlefield, performing acts of bravery that no alien thought possible. Scaling towers to disable weapons, rescuing trapped civilians, and communicating critical intelligence between units with speed and accuracy. Alara herself faced a critical moment when a collapsing bridge threatened a group of Krithar warriors. Without hesitation, she ran across the unstable structure, guiding the aliens to safety while narrowly avoiding falling debris. The Krithar who witnessed it could not help but admire her audacity. Courage and quick thinking, combined, had saved lives. As evening approached, the Zerathi began a final, desperate assault. It was their largest and most coordinated attack yet. Humans, though exhausted, refused to back down. They coordinated with Krithar squads, anticipating the enemy's movements, and creating clever traps that slowed and confused the attackers. Gorath fought alongside Alara, recognizing her skill not just in courage but in leadership. Together, they formed an unspoken bond, a recognition that bravery and intelligence were powerful together. The Krithar began to see humans not as fragile outsiders but as equals in strategy, courage, and determination. Finally, after hours of intense combat, the Zerathi retreated. Their forces were depleted, their morale broken. The city, though battered, had survived. The humans, exhausted but triumphant, were hailed by the Krithar as heroes. For the first time, the aliens celebrated human bravery not as a curiosity, but as a vital force that had turned the tide of battle. Gorath approached Alara, his massive frame casting a long shadow. "Your courage has saved lives today," he said. "But more than that, your mind and your heart have proven that humans are more than I imagined. You are brave, clever, and honorable. You are human, and that is your strength." Alara met his gaze steadily. "We are humans," she said. "We face fear, we protect each other, and we find solutions when others see none. That is who we are." The Krithar younger warriors, inspired by what they had seen, began to approach the humans, seeking guidance and collaboration. The humans realized that their bravery had not only helped in battle but had begun to build alliances that could reshape the future. That night, as the city recovered, The humans walked among the citizens, observing the aftermath. Structures had been damaged, but the Krithar worked tirelessly to repair them. The humans joined where they could, assisting with small tasks, sharing knowledge, and demonstrating humility and cooperation. Even the most skeptical Krithar began to see the value in humans not just as allies in battle, but as partners in thought and action. Alara reflected on the day's events. Courage had opened doors, but it was the combination of bravery, intelligence, and compassion that had truly made a difference. Humans were small, fragile in body, yet their ability to act wisely under pressure had turned what could have been disaster into victory. Jace spoke softly, breaking the silence. I never thought I'd see the day when Krithar would look at humans and see strength instead of weakness. Alara smiled. They've seen it now. And tomorrow, we show them even more. Humans are not just brave. They are adaptable, inventive, and willing to risk everything for others. That is what makes us strong. The city began to settle into an uneasy peace, and the humans prepared for the challenges that would surely come next. They knew the galaxy was vast and full of dangers, yet their courage had proven a single truth. Humans, no matter their size, could face the impossible and survive. As Alara looked at the stars beyond the crystalline towers, she whispered, "We are humans. We are brave, and that is enough to face whatever comes next." In the shadows, eyes watched silently, curious and calculating. The humans had faced a real threat, and emerged not only victorious but respected. The Krithar would never underestimate humans again, and somewhere deep in the galaxy, other challenges awaited. But for now, humans had shown that courage, combined with intelligence and compassion, could shape the fate of worlds. And that was a power no one, not even the strongest alien, could ignore. The morning after the battle dawned calm and bright over the Krithar city. The crystal towers gleamed in the sunlight, reflecting their fractured surfaces from the previous day's skirmishes. Humans walked through the streets, observing the rebuilding efforts. The Krithar worked efficiently, their movements precise. Yet there was a new energy in the city. It was subtle at first, but unmistakable: respect. Humans were no longer merely outsiders, they were valued participants in the life of this alien world. Alara led her team through the plaza where Krithar citizens were assembling. Gorath awaited them, his massive frame casting a shadow over the gathering crowd. "You have proven yourselves," he said, his deep voice resonating across the plaza. "Your courage saved lives, and your wisdom guided our warriors. Today, you are not merely visitors, you are allies. And tomorrow, your legacy may shape the future of this world." Alara bowed her head slightly, humility and pride mingling in her expression. "We are humans," she said, her voice carrying across the plaza. "We face fear. We protect each other. We do not give up. That is who we are." The Krithar assembly responded with gestures of acknowledgement, a formal recognition that carried weight in their culture. The younger Krithar, who had quietly aided the humans during the trials, now stepped forward, signaling their willingness to learn from them. The humans realized that their courage and ingenuity had created not just allies, but mentors, a bridge between two very different species. As the humans moved through the city, they were introduced to the Krithar Council. The council's chambers were vast, open to the sky, with crystalline pillars that refracted the sunlight into soft, shimmering patterns. The leaders spoke with voices deep and resonant, each word deliberate and meaningful. "You have shown that humans are not to be underestimated," one council member said. "Your bravery is unmatched, and your wisdom in the face of danger is extraordinary. We wish to honor you and learn from you. Your kind has a spirit that complements our strength. Together, we can achieve more than either of us could alone." Alara exchanged glances with her team. "We are honored," she replied. "Humans have always believed that courage, intelligence, and empathy are our greatest strengths. We are ready to share them, and to learn from you as well. Cooperation, not conquest, builds lasting strength." The council agreed to a formal ceremony of recognition. Humans would be honored publicly, and their knowledge would be integrated into Krithar training and strategy. Preparations for the ceremony filled the day. Crystalline platforms were polished, alien symbols illuminated, and crowds gathered to witness the event. Humans moved among the citizens, helping where they could, answering questions, and showing that courage was paired with humility. When the ceremony began, Ilara stepped forward. Gorath and the council members flanked her, acknowledging her leadership. The assembly was silent, all eyes on the humans. Ilara addressed the crowd. "We came as explorers, small and uncertain in your world. We faced challenges that tested our courage, intelligence, and resolve. Today, we are honored not because of our size or strength, but because we faced fear together. And we chose to protect life, to think, and to act with care. That is humanity. That is what makes us strong." The Krethar listened intently, their understanding of humans deepening with every word. For generations, they had valued physical power above all else, but they could not ignore the humans' example. The humans' bravery, their cleverness, and their empathy had turned the tide of a dangerous attack and inspired a new vision for the future. After the ceremony, the humans were invited to share knowledge with Krethar warriors and scholars. Jace demonstrated engineering techniques that allowed more efficient energy distribution in the city's systems. Talia shared communication methods that improved coordination during emergencies. Marin taught strategies in teamwork and observation that complemented Krithar's strength and precision. Every lesson emphasized the human approach. Combine courage with thought, action with care, and innovation with practicality. Even Gorath, the massive Krethar leader who had first confronted Ilara in suspicion, now treated the humans as equals. He spent hours walking alongside them, discussing tactics, observing methods, and occasionally offering insight of his own. Their dialogue became a model of mutual respect. Courage was admirable, but combined with intelligence and empathy, it became transformative. As days passed, humans and Krethar began joint training exercises, blending the strengths of both species. Humans taught unconventional tactics, problem-solving under pressure, and moral decision-making in battle scenarios. The Krethar contributed their unmatched physical abilities, discipline, and understanding of the environment. Together, they formed a new kind of force, one that relied on brains and bravery, strength and compassion. The city itself began to transform under this influence. Minor changes, at first, were evident in training methods, resource allocation, and cooperation between different Krethar factions. The humans' influence spread not by dominance, but by example. Their courage inspired confidence, their intelligence fostered understanding, and their empathy created bonds that reshaped the community. One evening, as the sun cast long shadows across the crystalline towers, Ilara stood atop a platform overlooking the city. The light caught the towers in a brilliant glow, illuminating both the architectural beauty and the life within. Gorath approached, his massive figure almost serene in the soft light. "You have changed something here," he said. "Not through force, not through command, but through being what you are. Humans are small, yet you leave an impression larger than your size. Courage, wisdom, and care. You teach us these things without demanding it." Ilara smiled. "We are human. It is what we do. We face the impossible. We protect others, and we find ways to endure and overcome. That is our nature. And it seems that nature is powerful even here, on a world far from Earth." Gorath's eyes softened. "Perhaps the galaxy has underestimated humans all along. Perhaps strength is not only in power, but in the spirit. You have proven that." The humans continued their work with the Krethar, helping rebuild, reorganize, and strengthen the city for future threats. Every challenge they faced, from minor structural repairs to planning defenses against potential enemies, was met with a combination of courage, ingenuity, and cooperation. Humans were not the strongest in brute force, but they were fearless in thought and action, and they never wavered in the face of danger. Months passed, and the alliance between humans and Krethar solidified. Trade routes were established, joint patrols formed, and cultural exchanges flourished. Humans became respected advisors, mentors, and friends to the Krithar. Their bravery had not only earned respect but had created a foundation for long-term collaboration. Elara reflected on their journey. From the first encounter with Gorath to the intense battle against the Zerathi, humans had consistently relied on courage, intelligence, and empathy. Those traits had allowed them to survive, thrive, and earn allies in a world that could have easily crushed them. One evening, she gathered her team at the edge of the city, overlooking the horizon where the twin moons hung low in the sky. "We came to explore," she said softly. "We came to observe. We faced danger, and we proved that being human is more than survival. It is courage, compassion, and the ability to act wisely. That is our strength, and that is what allows us to leave a mark on this universe." Marin nodded. "We were small in their eyes, but our choices mattered. We made a difference, and that difference will last." Jace looked at the distant horizon. "I think we've shown them that humans are brave not because we have to be, but because it is who we are. We can face anything," Talia added quietly. "And that courage inspires more than fear. It inspires respect, cooperation, and change. That is something only humans can do." Gorath appeared beside them, his massive shadow stretching across the ground. "I growled once at humans, seeing only fragility," he said. "Now I see bravery, wisdom, and honor. You are human, and that is why you are strong. Your courage is a gift, not just to your kind, but to all who witness it." Elara smiled, feeling the weight and truth of his words. "We are humans. We face fear, we protect life, and we think, act, and care. That is enough to face any challenge. That is what we bring to the galaxy." The moons rose higher, casting silver light across the city. The humans stood quietly, observing the life around them. Krithar children, playing near the crystalline towers, citizens working in harmony, and the subtle signs of a new, stronger alliance forming. Humans had proven their worth not through power alone, but through bravery, ingenuity, and heart, and the universe would remember. For humans were small, yet their courage was immense. Their intelligence could outthink the strongest enemy. Their compassion could unite even the most different of species. That combination, simple yet profound, would continue to shape worlds and civilizations, leaving a legacy that no obstacle could erase. Elara looked at the horizon, feeling the weight of possibility. "We are humans," she said softly. "And we are brave. That is who we are. That is why we survive. And that is why we endure." In the silent streets of the city, a new era had begun. Humans and Krithar stood together, not as teacher and student, not as conqueror and conquered, but as allies. Bravery had opened the door, wisdom had guided them through danger, and compassion had ensured that every action left a mark for the better. The stars above shimmered like scattered diamonds, and the humans knew that their journey was only beginning. They were small, yet their courage was immense. They were humans, and in the vast galaxy, that was more than enough.